Tag.
1 month every year, 5 highly competitive friends hit the ground running for a no-holds-barred game of tag, risking their necks, their jobs, and their relationships to take one another down. This time, the game coincides with the wedding of the only undefeated player. What should be an easy target soon becomes an all-out war, as he knows they're coming to get him.
I remember whenever this trailer came out, we both, I think we saw this trailer at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Didn't they come out for around game night?
Yeah, it came out around then. So we both saw this trailer and we got super excited because this thing looked hilarious and looked like a really clever idea. And we both said if they can pull this off, this will be a really great movie. And because the cast is great, John Hamm, Jake Johnson. Got his name right this time. Ed Helms and Hannibal Buress and who else? Anybody else? Am I forgetting anybody?
Isla Fisher.
Isla Fisher.
And the main event.
Yes.
Hawkeye himself, Jeremy
Renner.
Jeremy
Renner. That's an excellent cast, and I'd say they pulled it off. Everybody has really great chemistry. This movie actually makes me wish that I had more guy friends. But at the same time, I don't need more friends than I have. I'm pretty good right now. Yes, you are my only guy friend outside of my brother, and that's all I need.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but no, I don't want to play any tag with any of you guys though.
Yeah. First off, you're an easy target.
Yes, I'm an easy target
because of that ankle situation.
Yes, you can go for the ankles. That's the other thing. That's one of the reasons I don't want any guy friends is because I watched a lot of MTV growing up, and I just saw a lot of guy friends doing crazy pranks to each other, and I don't want to have any part of that.
Yeah. I understand that. I know that feel. Speaking of crazy pranks, there was a website called prankvote.com where they had like a roommate they didn't really like. So every week they would put a poll online. What should we do to him this week? And then the one that the thing that won, they would do a video of them doing it to him for that week, and then they would just keep it going till he eventually moved out and they got a new roommate. And then they said, well, we don't like her too much either, so let's keep this thing going.
Yeah. Well, back to this movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, this one's, and I'd say, barely based on a true story. I know there was this was based off of a New York Times article, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Or Wall Street Journal. I think.
Yeah, based on a true story, in that a story like this happened, just not like this.
Yes. It was Wall Street Journal is what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So that it barely based on that, but like I said, but either way, there's a lot of the stunts can get kind of wacky in this thing. That was the only thing that I guess it worked for the tone of this movie anyway. There's a lot you have to suspend your disbelief, especially if you wanted to believe that all of these actors were supposedly in the same age, when you clearly can tell that that's not the case.
Yeah.
John Hamm was not 9 years old at the same time as Hannibal Buress. That's
that is very unbelievable.
Neither was Ed Helms.
Neither was Isla Fisher.
Yeah, really.
None of them were 9 years old.
Hannibal Buress is probably the youngest guy on this whole cast, next to Jake Johnson. I mean,
Tag is like a Stephen King movie. They all playing the same game as Tag because it keeps them immortal.
Hey, that would have been actually an interesting. If this was the cast for the It movie, it kind of would have worked. But.
Yeah, it would have worked.
Yeah, but like I said, they all have their own styles of comedy, which is nice to see in a comedy like this, where you see
they play well off each other.
Yes, and I think Hannibal Buress and I'd say Hannibal Buress and Jake Johnson were probably the funniest ones in this movie. Ed Helms was the one that played kind of the straight guy most of the time. He was the one that was trying to keep everything together, and
he always plays.
He's the one
role.
that brought. Yeah, but he played the Ed Helms role in this one.
Yeah,
but it worked so much better in this. He
was that dude in all 3 Hangovers.
Yeah. So he was good in this movie. This was one of. I don't usually like Ed Helms all that much, but he worked very well in this movie. Because I know he's always he's kind of always wanted to be the next Steve Martin. That's always seems to be who he's, even going down to playing the banjo and everything. I think you can tell he's always had that Steve Martin vibe about him. And this one he actually was the Steve Martin of this generation in this movie. So, but yeah, like I said, the stunts were pretty cool. I know people have probably already heard this if you've seen any other review for this movie, but as Jeremy Renner, it seems to have more. They say he has more superpowers in this movie than he does as Hawkeye, and that's pretty
accurate.
Yes, and I heard he broke both of his arms, like doing a chair stunt. There's a really cool chair stunt in this movie that I said, wow, that was probably really scary if he actually did that. And apparently he had broken both of his arms doing that stunt in this movie.
Yeah, it also was the reason why he wasn't in Infinity War.
That makes more sense. That would make sense. Breaking two arms
playing a bow and arrow character.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
Don't work at all.
Don't work at all.
But yeah, there was like I said, there were some really cool stunts in here, but you just have to, like, for this kind of comedy, you do have to not look at this as some kind of art film, or just you review this as a comedy film, and that's what I'm going to do with this one.
So you review it like a non-action point.
Yes,
it was actually funny.
It was actually funny.
Got it.
Yes,
and
it has a lot of heart in this too. There's some stuff with Ed Helms in here that it works on an emotional level. I like I said, I got a little choked up at sometimes. It's pretty sentimental. You believe these guys could have been friends for 30 years, and it works.
Even though their ages don't match.
Yeah. 30 years ago, Hannibal Buress was like 4 years old.
Yeah. He was at home watching Face on Nicktoons.
Yeah.
No, 4 years old. No, he wasn't watching Face. He was just watching like Eureka's Castle.
Yeah. But yeah, but like I said, this was a good movie. It was definitely, it's not one I'd go out into the theaters to go see, even though I did. But like I said, you probably should watch it, rent it or stream it, whatever you want to do whenever it comes out. But yeah, it's not the best comedy I've seen this year. I still think Game Night might be my favorite comedy of the year so far.
Yeah, from what I'm looking, Tag looks funny, but Game Night was just so clever.
Yeah, this one's the Tag premise is the most clever part of this movie. It's nothing really new under here, but like I said, it's just good chemistry, an interesting premise, but like I said, it wasn't quite what I wanted it to be, just because of how silly and stuff some of the stuff that happens in this, especially with like Jeremy Renner with his ability, like he narrates everything that's going on around him. Like he'll be in the middle of something and then he can smell somebody coming from behind him. I was like, okay, this is a little bit too much, but it's interesting also how they played off of this whole him never being tagged before, how this thing becomes a metaphor for them, why he's not as close to them as they are to each other, what the game of tag meant to them. That part was where I said this had some sentimental stuff, and
he's
also
been hot since he's been away, since he's playing so well. He's not spending time with the group,
right? And like originally he had a plan as far as why they weren't originally invited to his wedding, even because he knew that was in May and stuff. But he knew that they would probably show up anyway because it's May. But for them, they were curious, like, why in the world wouldn't he invite us to the wedding? They felt like he was a little bit farther from them, but also because he's spent most of these 30 years running from these guys.
Yeah. I've never been tagged, but at the same time, I've never really been friends with y'all.
Yes.
Either, because I've never been tagged.
Yeah.
I've never been, that was fun.
Yeah.
I've never had those moments with you.
Yeah. So, like I said, it's got some interesting metaphor in here, and then also it's got another, like I said, it's got some pretty emotional stuff with Ed Helms and his character and bringing this group together. It's really cool. Anyways, so now I got to score. Oh, I got to talk about the cinematography because that's something I also like to talk about. Some of the action scenes are poorly edited, to say the least. Now, there's some parts that look really neat, but there's a lot of cutting that goes on and shaky cam that I don't care for. That which kind of spoils a little bit. Some of the action scenes, like I said, are pretty cool, but like I said, there's a lot of editing that was involved in them to make them look the way that they did, and it didn't work so well. So for that, I'm taking some scores off for that. But I go ahead and give this movie a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay,
that's the score I'll give it. Funny movie, great cast. Just there could have been a little bit more to take it that extra step to make this a more memorable movie. So 7.5. That ain't too bad for us.
Yeah, that ain't too bad for us at all. No, it's better than the walkout I gave Action Point.
Yeah,
I will never not talk about that.